First off, I want to thank the brave men and women who work behind the wall. I want to thank them on a national level because their job goes unrecognized.
How do they try to turn a guard?
Well, correctional officer. Sorry, I apologize. But correctional officer.
How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Gangi. Welcome to another episode of Tier Talk. Today's topic is going to be the hard job of being a lobby officer. Guys, a lobby officer is a pretty hard job. A lot of people don't think so, but it is. And me and Russ, because Russ Hamilton's going to be my guest on today, we're going to discuss some of the concerns that the lobby officers have to face every day. I think a lot of people think that the lobby officer is a laid-up gig. I mean, there are certain officers that when they get closer to retiring, they decide, hey, I'm going to take that gig, and they don't realize how hard that lobby officer is. Now, guys, if you're from the outside looking in, we're talking about the officer who deals with the entrance of the facility, who allows people in. Now, Russ, do you mind introducing yourself to the audience again?
Yeah, my name is Russ Hamilton. I have 27 years with California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Started at San Quentin in '89. Later on, I transferred and then promoted to sergeant. I also have some time in as a senior correctional officer for a juvenile detention facility in California.
All right, Russ, so it's going to be a good dialogue today. We're going to talk about the hard job of being a lobby officer. But first, we're going to go to our sponsors. Now, guys, if you haven't, the show Tier Talks for you, brave men and women that work in corrections. So please subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. Bell's going to notify you every time I post a video. Stand by for our sponsor. When we come back, we're going to be talking about those concerns of being a lobby officer. Very difficult post. Stand by.
I wanted to attend a university that had an intelligence program. I wanted to look at problems different. I wanted to increase my critical thinking abilities. AMU offered those avenues to expand. Obtaining your degree as an adult, you're actually paying yourself and investing in yourself. You can't put a dollar on it, it's priceless. It's something that can never be taken away from you.
American Military University. Learn from the leader.
Guys, inmate manipulation is a course that is highly needed. It's the process that's so slow moving and subtle that you don't realize it's happening. When inmates choose to manipulate, they manipulate our need to react. Situational awareness and insight is going to save your career. It's going to save you from doing foolish things. Listen to your gut. So the more insight we have, the more we can recognize what isn't so overt, and we can correct our behavior before we fall into a trap that we can't get out of. If you allow an inmate to pull you out of your prescribed role, you are opening up a door for a host of problems. Inmate manipulation, the psychology behind inmate manipulation. Available now. Link in description.
All right, and we are back. Now, guys, a lot of people may think that the lobby officer is a laid-up gig. I mean, there are people that put their time in, like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and become that lobby officer and put my feet up a little bit. Let me tell you something right off the bat. The lobby officer, in my mind, is one of the toughest positions or toughest posts you can have when working in a jail or a prison. Would you agree with that, Russ?
Yeah, it's definitely, not only is it tough, but it's also a crucial and critical point in the whole facility. There is not a very large margin for error in any regards to anything with that officer.
Now, I want to tell you right off the bat that if I was working in a correctional facility, I do want to know who my lobby officer is. Because for me, I have to trust that person, because if there's a threat that's going to make its way into that facility, it makes its first stop at the lobby officer. So for you, Russ, what do you look for when you want a good, trusted lobby officer at that post? What qualities do we need for that officer to have?
I think the single most important quality that I would look for is someone that can operate under pressure. And what I mean by that is oftentimes these individuals that work those positions, they're under pressure by admin, and they're under pressure by the people coming in and out, the everyday officers and other staff to try and, be quick about what they're doing and yet not miss anything. A lot of times, officers and staff and admin, they just want to be, waved and rushed right through. Well, you can't do that if you're in that position. You have to treat everyone equally. but you also have to be thorough. You have to make sure that, whatever equipment you're using, be it a magnetometer or some other metal sensing device or other things, to keep that contraband out. At the same time, you've got people trying to come out. You have to be checking, every single ID, because in a lot of, especially big facilities, you don't know everyone. And so it's critical. That's a point of entry for contraband. It's a potential security breach if you manage to let an inmate out, if somebody escapes. So like I say, it's critical and crucial to have a good person in there. They have to be able to operate under that pressure all the time and not cave into people that, I just want to be waved through. They have to be that person that's also, a people person and can, slow people down and not get on their nerves either. At least that's my opinion on it.
I would also like to add, Russ, that the officer working the lobby needs to be a senior officer. They shouldn't be a rookie. They should be a veteran. They have to have some time in because, again, they have to enforce the rules. They're going to have to communicate, but you need someone that knows the game as well. There are going to be people that are going to try to play the game, to try to bring stuff in or just be complicated. I mean, how many times you have to tell people, like, you can't bring this in or you can't wear this. This could be seen as inappropriate. And there's always that conflict with the people that don't want to understand that and try to circumvent that officer's level of authority. So you need someone that's aware of those games because, again, in our facilities and the danger that those games can pose, just by letting someone in who's trying to sneak something in, whether it's a simple little lunch thing that they want to bring in or, a pen that, is an expensive pen. In the prison system, man, everything's contraband that's not allowed in. I don't care if they think it's something superficial. If it's not allowed in, it's not allowed in. And that officer that's controlling the lobby, their job is connected to that. So if they're a fool, if they allow something small in, thinking it's not the end of the world, it is. Because that small thing is still contraband, and all roads are going to lead back to you. Because I will guarantee you that when they start to put stress on that individual who brought that thing in, they're going to go back and point at the lobby officer for allowing it.
Exactly.
Hey, Russ, let me ask you a question. What's your feelings about having a non-veteran, like a rookie staff, man that lobby post? Because I'm sure some agencies may do it because they're desperate to put somebody at that post. I think they should be senior. I think they should be veteran. I think they should be well-versed in the games that people play. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, first of all, your veteran officer is going to know more of the people that are in the facility, and that's going to actually facilitate somewhat the flow of the searches and the ingress and egress of individuals. Because they're going to be able to, be that much quicker on checking, identification or badges or whatever coming through. So that veteran person is going to be better on that. Also, they should be hopefully more versed on what the rules, regulations, policies, procedures, and laws for operating that entrance and exit are. And also, you want someone, when you're a veteran, you tend to be better at standing up to that pressure about, people that want through quicker or people that want through with some little bit of contraband that aren't going to, cave to those little pressures because they've been in the game long enough. They've developed some of that armor and some of those skill sets about just being able to say that big word, no.
Brian, I like what you said about the policy procedures because the thing is you also need consistency. If you have a lobby officer that's lenient and you have a lobby officer that's strict, the lobby officer that's strict is going to get attacked because a lot of people are going to lean towards that lobby officer that's lenient. So the moment the one officer that does their job does it correctly, they're going to start getting the complaints from the staff coming in and saying, well, why can't I bring this in? And of course, what's the first thing they're going to say? Well, this lobby officer allows me to bring it in. But the thing is, if we're not consistent with the enforcement of the rules between shifts or between personnel, the problem is the person that's enforcing it, the person that's doing right, becomes a target of hate from those that want to circumvent. Would you agree, Russ?
Oh, absolutely. And you don't want that target, but at the same time, you don't want to cave. So, you have to be able to to have someone that's confident enough to push back. And that's the thing, and you always want that person that's going to be able to tell them, well, you know what, someone else may have let you in, but as soon as you can get the watch commander or someone else to sign off on it and put it in writing, then I'll be happy to accommodate you. But never let it come back to you. And you also have to be able to push back even against that if what they're doing is something that's so egregiously against policy or just such a clear security threat that you have to take that stand and say, no, there's no way to justify even on this memo what's going on. So, that person that's, been in those battles, been there before, the veterano, you want that person in there so that they can, really make an impact on security and a positive impact.
I like what you said about pushing back too, because you're protected by policy and procedure. So if someone's trying to play a game, even a higher level, and they're trying to get you to circumvent policy and procedure, you lean on that. You quote it. You write your report. You need to have someone that's willing to step up and tell that higher level, hey, hold on a second, though. You can't just go right in. And also on another note, too, there are going to be always door clearances, people that are allowed in. Now, I don't care if you see somebody every day and all of a sudden they're not there on that list. And you're saying, well, I see this person every day, I'll just let them in. Don't do it. Because there could be a reason why that person's not on that list. Sometimes people forget to put out memos of a banned employee. They do everything to get things moving, get the employee banned, because there's a lot of stuff to deal with when it comes to a banned employee. But sometimes they may forget to notify the lobby officer, or somebody may not be in the loop. Now you may see this person every day and think, oh, their name may have been overlooked. That's why they're not on the list today. No, it's not the case. The person wasn't supposed to be in. There's just a failure to communicate. So at no point should you allow that person in without the higher level authorization, even if it's someone you see every day. Would you agree with that, Russ?
Yeah, you can't take certain things within those certain areas of responsibility either for granted or upon your own shoulders. That's not the way it works. You have to operate within the parameters that they give you. And so if you have a list that says these 5 people are coming in and that 6th person isn't on it, you know what? If you don't have the authority to actually say, by my authority, I'm going to go ahead and let you in. If you don't have that in writing, if you don't have that according to policy, if you don't have that according to procedure, you don't let them in, period.
Right. And I would also like to say that there are busy times for the lobby officer, extremely busy, and they get hit up at the beginning of their shift because you have people coming in and people leaving. Sometimes it depends towards the end of the shift, because sometimes people have different start times. So sometimes custody may start before civilians. So definitely that first shift is going to have a couple of times where they're extremely busy. You should always have one male, one female, and a supervisor at that post, at least minimal, during the busy times. This way you have someone watching each other's back. That's one thing. You have a male for the males, a female for the female. If there's any concerns, the lobby officer can push it over to the supervisor in case there's someone that's just not following the rules. Hey, Sarge, can you help me out here? Because technically it's the supervisor that may have the authority to let the person in, depending on what the concerns are. And also just to have that extra eye, because sometimes what happens is when you're so busy, I'll be pat frisking somebody, let's say, and then I go to the next person, but I still should be keeping my eye on that person I just pat frisked to make sure no one hands them anything, or they don't step out and come back in. So again, during those busy hours, you should give that officer assistance, hopefully in the opposite gender or opposite sex, and a supervisor should be also made available just in case there's concerns. The officer could keep moving forward after the supervisor, and the supervisor can make the decision, because again, that's what they're supposed to do. Would you agree with that, Russ, during those hectic times?
Yeah, that usually tends to be a typical operating procedure on those shift change times. Usually you have some other position or post that's tasked to come over there and help out. There's almost always at that time too, and it depends on the facility, but oftentimes they'll have a specific supervisor that's tasked with being there to make sure that everything flows evenly and correctly, because you do want to get those people relieved, you do want to get them out of the institution, and you do want to try and facilitate things as quickly as possible.
And also, let's not forget that the officer working the lobby needs to be armed. Obviously, they're the first contact with the outside. They're our first level of protection. They got to protect themselves, protect the facilities. And I don't know if every lobby officer is armed. Guys, if you're watching this video, I would love to know if your lobby officers are armed, but they need to be armed. That's something that you need to push, especially nowadays with active shooter, Russ. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. That person that's in that lobby needs to be armed. And for a whole host of reasons. You know, the first contact that someone who's, you know, upset with what's going on with their loved one, or who's upset with something that perhaps administration did, this could even be applied to employees. We don't want to end up with an active shooter situation. We want to be able to protect ourselves, be able to protect our people, be able to protect the inmates. That's a crucial and critical junction right there. And so you always want to provide some sort of armed resistance towards someone who's trying to do something bad. You know, I think that also, especially some of these older institutions, they should take into account and be providing with that by providing some sort of cover, some sort of, you know, bulletproof glass, some barrier between them and the public, so that that person that is armed stands a much better fighting chance and can't be easily ambushed. But anyway, that's my opinion on it. I don't think that you should ever run a position like that without some sort of lethal force option.
I agree with you 100% that you need to protect them, again, because at any time they could be faced with a threat, but that's also the initial threat that the facility could face. So it's good to have them protected as best as possible. That's why a lot of places do have them behind some bulletproof glass. Now, again, guys, this was just a quick video. We wanted to get something out there because I think a lot of people want to go to that lobby position because it's like, oh, well, I'm not dealing with inmates, so this is a cakewalk. Well, guess what? Sometimes staff could be just as or even more difficult. And lobby officers deal with harassments and complaints. I mean, I can't tell you how many times lobby officers get complained on for just doing their job, you know, for what it is. And if you're not having any consistency with the other lobby officers and they're more lenient, that person that's really doing their job gets more complaints. So, again, if you're looking for a cakewalk job, and I disagree, there should be no cakewalk job in corrections. Lobby is not the job. Lobby officer, thank you guys. We need you. You're that first level of defense. And for anybody that's looking just to ease their time, find another post, because it's not just about inmates. Like, oh, I'm not dealing with the inmates, so lobby officer, cakewalk. Let me tell you how quickly you'll find that out on your first day when you have that responsibility of letting people into that facility and you're trying to enforce the rules. For anybody who thinks that the lobby is an easy job, it's only because I'm thinking that you're not enforcing the rules. Because once you start enforcing the rules the way they're meant to be implemented, it is not an easy job because there's always going to be someone trying to go against those rules. Russ, what's your final thoughts?
Yeah, you know, I think that the lobby being that crucial and critical position, you want the best people, the best possible people to be there to be the barrier between the secure perimeter and the unsecure perimeter. So I would always be looking, you know, if you're a watch commander, sergeant, try and find those people with a work ethos that matches the description of what that job is meant to be. Not what it is, but what it's meant to be.
Well said, Russ. And in the future, we'll have a video of some of the contraband things that maybe people don't think are that big, but we'll tell you how it can be utilized and why you're not allowed to bring it in. Something as simple as an open water bottle. You know, something as simple as your favorite pen. It's going to be a great dialogue, and we'll have it up posted shortly, but we're going to give that video to Connie first, and when she's ready, she'll give it back to us. Now, guys, thank you guys for watching the show's Tier Talk. If you haven't, please subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. The bell's going to notify you every time I post a video. Don't forget, guys, Inmate Manipulation course in the description. And once ready, the Complacency course by yours truly, Russ Hamilton, will be also the link will be in the description. As always, guys, stay safe and show us Tier Talk. Get a little sidetracked because I got someone behind me needing room. Hold on.
Are you getting pulled over?
No, I'm not getting pulled over. I'm not doing anything wrong. I just need to make room for him. Hey, guys, you're allowed to talk to somebody.
That was going to be fun if you were getting pulled over.
No, I didn't get pulled over. He was, I had to make room, but I was in the shoulder. People have conversations all the time. Oh, wait, we're still recording. As always, guys, stay safe. See you soon.